Hi, friends. This is the reading lesson for third grade. You need your booklets open to page 12. You also need a pencil and a highlighter. Today we are going to read a text called Fur, Skin, Scales, or Feathers. And by looking at the two text features on page 12 and page 13, you've probably realized that this is an informational science text. So we are going to be looking close up at animals and how they use their fur, their skin, their scales, and their feathers. And we will also be talking about how maybe those things change depending on the seasons. If you turn the page, we see some more pictures of some close-up frogs, a crocodile, and a green iguana, and the feathers of a hawk and a mallard duck. So we're going to be talking about all those kinds of things and how they help animals survive in their habitat. So let's go ahead and get started.
Extended Read 1. Remember to annotate as you read.
Fur, Skin, Scales, or Feathers by Anna Miller. Body coverings serve many different functions. The one thing they have in common is that they each help suit the animal to its environment. This aids in an animal's survival.
All right, so that first paragraph is just kind of the introduction. It's telling us what we're going to be learning about. So we are going to be learning about body coverings, specifically fur, skin, scales, or feathers. And like I said before, all of these things that an animal has aids in their survival. They help the animal survive in its habitat. So the first section we're going to read is called Furry Coats. Once we're done reading all of this section, we'll go back and highlight the key details, and then we will write a main idea.
Furry coats. Mammals are warm-blooded animals that nurse their young. They are also the only animals that have fur covering their bodies. Fur keeps them warm and dry. Most fur has two layers. The ground fur is the layer against the animal's skin. It is also called the undercoat. This fur is usually very short and soft. The undercoat helps an animal control its body temperature. The guard layer has longer, stiff hairs. This layer protects the animal against rain and snow. It works like a rain jacket. In winter, this layer grows thicker for warmth. In summer, animals shed some of the top layer to stay cool.
Okay, we're actually going to stop right there. There is a ton of information in these first three paragraphs. So we're going to grab our highlighters and we're going to start highlighting. Okay, so we are learning about furry coats. So anything we highlight is going to be about that furry coat. So in paragraph 2, it's talking about mammals, right? And so let's go ahead and highlight mammals. And we know that mammals are the only animals that have fur covering their body. So let's go ahead and highlight only animals that have fur covering their bodies. Okay. Then, starting in paragraph 3, we start to learn that there are two different layers of fur. So the ground fur, the one that's against the animal's skin, it is called the undercoat. And what does this undercoat do? I want you to highlight the sentence that says what the undercoat does for the animal. So you should have highlighted the undercoat helps an animal control its body temperature. Okay, so if you didn't highlight that part, go ahead and highlight it now. Then we're going to move on to paragraph 4. So paragraph 4 starts to talk about the other type of fur. So the other type of fur is called the guard layer. And what does the guard layer do? Go ahead and highlight how the guard layer protects the animal. So you should have highlighted this layer protects the animal against rain and snow. So it's kind of like a rain jacket, right? Keeps it nice and warm, but it also um, keeps it cool when after he sheds some of it. Okay, let's keep reading. Page 13.
An animal's fur can also help protect it from predators. Some animals' fur has a pattern and color that blend in with their surroundings. For example, tigers have orange and black striped fur. This pattern helps tigers blend into the grasslands and forests where they live and hunt. A leopard's coat is gold-colored with black spots. These spots are called rosettes. They can be round or square to camouflage leopards in different surroundings. When leopards hunt from trees, their spots help them blend in with the leaves. The Arctic fox lives in the Arctic Circle. Most of the year, the ground is covered with white snow. In summer, the Arctic ground has many bare brown patches. An Arctic fox's fur is white in winter and brown in summer. The white fur helps it hide in the snow. The brown fur helps it hide on the bare ground.
Earth's climate zones. The average weather in polar regions is cold and dry. Temperate regions have mild weather with warm summers and cool winters. The tropical zone is hot and wet almost year-round. Animals in each habitat have become adapted in different ways to survive. Polar region, temperate region, tropical region, temperate region, polar region.
Okay, so that map down there just kind of shows how um, the climate is in different parts of our world. So at the top and the bottom, you have those polar regions. Where we live is a temperate region, and then in the middle around the equator is a tropical region. So let's go back to paragraphs 5, 6, and 7, and let's do some highlighting. So we learn that fur, not only does it help them during stay warm or stay cold or stay dry, it also protects them from predators. Okay. So it says some animals' fur has a pattern and color that blend in with its surroundings. What do we call that? Do you remember that big word? Did you say camouflage? So this is probably important to highlight as well. And then it goes on to give a bunch of examples. It talks about a tiger and the pattern that helps it blend into the grasslands and forests so it can hunt. It talks about the leopard's coat and the spots so it helps them blend in when they're hunting. And it talks about the Arctic fox and how the Arctic fox is usually white in the winter and then brown in the summer. So it helps it hide when it's looking for food. So it kind of works both ways. It helps animals be protected from predators, but then it also helps them as when they are looking for their prey, when they are hunting, right? So we can highlight that when we're talking about the tiger, it helps it blend into the grasslands and forests where they live and hunt. In paragraph 6, we can highlight when leopards hunt from trees, their spots help them blend in. And we can talk about the Arctic fox, those last two sentences. The white fur helps it hide in the snow, and the brown fur helps it hide on the bare ground. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to write a main idea, taking in all of the things that we learned about furry coats. So here's what we're going to do. On page 12, I want you to write, furry coats with a colon. That's the dot dot like that. I want you to write furry coats. That way we know that this is the main idea for furry coats. So we learned a bunch of different ways that fur helps animals, right? So we learned that it helps them regulate their temperature, control their temperature. It keeps them warm and cool. It protects them against rain and snow. And it helps them stay safe from predators or helps them find their prey. So that's a lot to write. We're going to try and make that into one beautiful sentence. So here we go. Fur helps animals control their body temperature, stay dry. That's this part in paragraph 4. Hunt for prey and stay safe from predators. So fur helps animals control their body temperature, stay dry, hunt for prey, and stay safe from predators. Who would have ever thought that fur was such a big deal? Does so many things. If you need to pause the video to keep writing that main idea, please do so. Otherwise, we are going to move on to our next section. All right, now we're going to be learning about smooth skin in frogs. I love looking at these frogs. They are so colorful. Okay, here we go.
Smooth skins. Amphibians, such as frogs, begin their life in the water, where they breathe through gills. As they mature, they develop lungs. Amphibians have smooth, wet skin that helps them survive in and out of water. Frogs are one type of amphibian. Frogs drink and breathe through their skin. However, their skin has to stay moist so oxygen can pass through it. Otherwise, frogs could not breathe. If a frog's skin dries out, it will die. Living near water helps frogs keep their skin moist.
All right, let's stop right there. So much information again, right? So let's grab our highlighters and let's highlight about this smooth skin of a frog. So a frog's skin is very important, right? So once they are mature and they have their lungs, their skin actually helps them breathe, right? So we learn that amphibians have smooth, wet skin that helps them survive in and out of water. Okay. And we learn that frogs specifically, what do they do through their skin? Go ahead and look in paragraph 9 and highlight, what do frogs do through their skin? So you should have highlighted sentence number 2. Says frogs drink and breathe through their skin. However, it is so important that their skin stays wet or moist. Why? Because the oxygen has to pass through, right? So their skin has to stay moist so oxygen can pass through it. What happens if they don't? If their skin dries out, go ahead and highlight what happens. All right, you should have highlighted, if a frog's skin dries out, it will die. So we have to make sure that frog's skin stays moist so it can breathe. All right, let's keep reading in paragraph 10.
The poison dart frog lives in rainforests. The humid air keeps this frog's skin moist. The skin helps these frogs breathe but it also plays a special role in their survival. Poison dart frogs can release deadly toxins through their skin. The bright color of this frog's skin is another adaptation that warns predators to stay away, or else.
Okay, so we're learning now about the poison dart frog, right? He lives in the rainforest and the air keeps his skin moist. But not only his skin staying moist, what does his skin do? Think about its name, poison dart frog. What does its skin do? Find that sentence in paragraph 10. It says poison dart frogs can release deadly toxins through their skin. So they need that skin. That's one of their adaptations to help them survive so they don't get eaten by things, right? And then another way that it blends in or warns predators is the bright color, right? So predators would see this bright color and say, oh, that guy's poisonous. I don't want to get near him. So, pretty good adaptation for that frog, huh? Okay, one more paragraph. Salamanders.
Red-eyed tree frog. Blue poison dart frog.
Salamanders are amphibians too. They keep their skin moist by releasing mucus, a thick liquid. This adaptation helps salamanders survive on land. Sometimes they release special liquids to attract mates. Like poison dart frogs, salamanders can release poison from their skin. Unlike poison dart frogs, salamanders are not brightly colored, but they do have spots on their skin to hide from predators.
Okay, so salamanders are similar to poison dart frogs in one way, but not in another way. So, the poison dart frogs and the salamanders, they release poison from their skin, but they're not brightly colored. But they still can blend in and hide from predators because why? Because they have those spots on their skin, right? Now, how does a salamander keep its skin moist? Salamanders live on land. So, what does it do to keep its skin wet? Find that sentence in paragraph 11. It says right here, sentence 2, they keep their skin moist by releasing mucus, a thick liquid. So they have to release it themselves to help them stay wet. Again, if they don't stay wet, then they are not going to live. Okay, let's go ahead and write our main idea for smooth skins. So, smooth skin is what we'll start with. And we learned a lot about smooth skin, right? So, their smooth, wet skin helps frogs, salamanders, it helps them survive. They live in water and out of water, right? So, if they didn't have this special skin, they either couldn't survive on land or they couldn't survive on water, right? Or in water. So that's probably what we need to write. We can kind of use this sentence right here in paragraph 8 as a guide. So we'll say amphibians have smooth, wet skin that helps them survive in and out of water. Okay, so we are done with today's lesson. Tomorrow, we are going to read about dry scales and fantastic feathers. All right, great job today, friends. We will see you later. If you need to keep writing this, you can pause the video and do that. Bye.